Hey y'all, thanks for dropping in. Today's episode is actually going to be a two-parter. Um, Obviously, this analog stick, joystick, whatever you want to call it, it's jacked. So we need to replace that. And then I let him know it's kind of like a car. While I'm in there, I could go ahead and do this side as well. But I'm actually going to break it down into two parts to make it easy for you guys at home. If you want to take that gamble and try to do it yourself, you could do that. But moving forward, so we're going to start with this side. Actually, hold on, give me one moment. Scratch that. We're going to start with this side, which is on its way out. It's not too bad off. We're going to start with that side, anyhow. So, there's the tool I'm looking for. Alrighty. There we go. So we got to start with the 4 tri-wing screws in the corners. Let's see, I need more light. More light. Let me see better now. A little bit. The way I normally do it is I kind of have it in my lap to protect it and not put so much pressure on it. But since we're replacing both anyway, it doesn't matter that much. Just still use caution not to put excess pressure. You can break things. And then now the ones on the other side. Actually, no, I wanted to try this side. See if it's better for y'all. We get a better angle. Yeah, looks like we got a better angle. Alright, so yeah, we just do the ones on the other side. There we go. So now we're gonna do these two. That worked out good. So now we're gonna do these two right by the charge port. Those take a basically precision Phillips head. And we're gonna flip it around. And then on the top there's 2 more. There's one up here and one over here. There we go. Alright, so I made sure there's no game in there. There's no memory card in there. So we're good on that. I always like to start from this side. Come on. There we go. Alright, and then once I get it that far, hold on, let me fix this. Whoa. Just hang tight, folks. Dang it. There we go. Alright, so we're gonna go with this. Alright, so once I get this bottom part up, I like to have it like this. You start from this side. It usually takes some finagling too. It doesn't always work perfectly, but gotta get this side going. Why is it not wanting to go? There we go. Oh, because I did the wrong side. DTD. Sorry, scratch that. So you want to start with this side? Screen facing that way. And bam. And the reason why is because you want to not damage this cable. Alright, so just set that to the side. We gotta make sure that she's off. Hold on, we're gonna maybe have to turn her on to turn her off. Oh, she doesn't even want to come up. Give me one quick moment. And we're back. I just wanted to make sure that everything was good before I dug in too far. Everything is good. It just has a really low battery. We just want to be very precautious, especially with the light, in regards to the battery. Anyhow, as you can see, I went ahead and did the screw down here. One down here. You could put them in order or whatever if you need to. But, and there's one in the center. You notice I'm not putting all the pressure on there. And there's one over here. It's like a, I don't know, yellow one. And there's one up here. This whole piece will just lift up. There we go. Sometimes it puts up a fight. There's these two notches, one notch here and one notch here that they kind of get snagged on sometimes. Anyhow, once you get that far, first thing, even though we know the battery is dead, doesn't matter. Safety first, just like we're handling a firearm, right? So we disconnect that. Boom. Disconnect the battery. Bam. Alright. We're good now as far as safety goes. So now we could apply the screwdriver to all these other points safely without worrying about burning anything up, jacking anything up pretty much. Alright, so like I said, we're going to start with this one first, even though it's not very bad off. In order to do this one, it is pesky, but it's not as difficult as the other side over here. Anyhow, first things first, we want to unscrew these two yellow screws. I know it's hard to see. I'm trying to give you guys a good angle too. Two yellow screws, boom, boom. You want to do those. This whole piece will just pull up and out. Bammo. Okay. Be very careful with this spring here. I'm going to just pull that whole piece out. Normally it will kind of stay into place. Alright, so now we could carefully take our fingernail, pop that up. This ribbon cable will pull out on this side now because that is the same cable that runs across right here. Alright. I could go ahead and unscrew the yellow screw right here. Bango, bango. This whole speaker will pull right up and out. Keep that yellow screw. You don't have to pull this out. It's up to you. You could leave it plugged in like I'm going to go ahead and do. But we're going to want to unplug this by carefully popping that clasp with our fingernail. And this whole piece will come out. Boom. Okay. A lot of people disconnect those two. I don't really go through that trouble. I just kind of fold it over like a page in a book. we go. Alright, so yeah, just kind of fold it over like a page in a book. But with these, there's a silver screw and then 2 more yellow screws. You do want to remember where they go. Something I did discover though that helps a bit is the yellow screw holes have a very small ground plane around it. Whereas that silver one I just pulled out, you see that big ol' huge, like, well, not big ol' huge, but that thicker ground plane. So watch again, this one's silver. Watch how much bigger the ground plane is versus, say, one of those gold screw holes, right? Yeah, compare. Boom, 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 boom. Anyhow, just remember where those go. Fold this over like a book. Use caution, don't be rough. Okay. And then now we have access to the joystick. It's just 2 screws. Boom. Boom. Come on. There we go. Alright, so it's kind of on the dirty side, a little bit broken, chewed up. Get that replaced. Alright, so if you remember, here I'm going to bend this cable upwards like that. And if you remember the orientation, it goes like this. Come on. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now we take those smaller silver screws that we pulled out earlier. Oh. Screw those bad boys back in. Like I said earlier, I usually use my lap a bit more, but I'm trying to show you guys the steps. So they look a little weird, kind of using that or whatever. Okay, and then if you remember earlier, I kind of folded this up a little bit, bent it up just slightly, nothing hardcore. Just kind of give me a small advantage, because when I fold this back over like a book, I want this to go right there. There we go. Okay, and then this. Oh, this needs to go right here. Just like so. Come on. There we go. Alright, so if you remember earlier, the silver screws are the bigger holes. So we'll do those first. So those are there and there. Gold screws. The silver screws were here and here. There's one more gold screw that goes here. That's going to hold that speaker into place. Let's go ahead and put that one in as well. And we could pop this back up very so carefully with our fingernail. If you are too rough, it will very easily break. And there we go. Bam. So that side's pretty much done. We do obviously have to remember to connect it. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Come on. Always wants to fight. Wants to go now. Come on. You can do it. Oh, sorry. So, I don't know, I guess it is all the way in. I thought it went more in, but we'll go ahead and fold that back over. Then if you remember, we have this piece and that trigger piece. So I gotta put this trigger piece in. It's a little delicate of a process, so I don't usually normally take it out, but boom. So hopefully you guys got to see how I did that. I kind of wedged the part where the trigger where it goes, and then I squeezed the spring in and pushed it in with a pair of tweezers. All right, so now that that's in, we can go ahead and put in the trigger and make sure you don't lose that little bugger either. And now that that trigger's in, go ahead and put the 2 corresponding gold screws back into place. Hold that back boy in there. Alright, then this cable kind of channels through here, but leave this part off to the side because we still got to do that side. Unless that's the only side you're doing, then you really didn't even need to take that shield off. But alright, so that's part 1. We're 1 for 1. We're gonna go ahead and do the other side now for part 2. I thought that looked better. Yeah, that is full bore, huh? Dang it. Alright, anyhow, we'll be back. Alright, and we are back. So, gonna go ahead and do this side. It's a little awkward, I know the angle I'm doing at, but I'm doing it hopefully to where it's better for you guys. Because my lighting situation is a little dull at the moment. So anyhow, just like on the other side, there's 2 gold screws. So you want to go ahead and remove those 2 gold screws. And just like the other side as well, that whole piece pulls out. Do not lose this piece right here. Do not lose that. Alright. And now we could go ahead and do these. This whole piece pulls out, so we'll be able to get that out. We gotta get these 4 silver screws out. Again, I'm doing what I can. Hopefully you guys could see well. Now we get all the ones on the game cart reader. Game card slot, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so before we go pulling that out, we need to get these 3 screws out as well. So let's go ahead and get these 3 out. Those just hold the heatsink in place. We will be replacing that compound. I know a lot of places lag out and don't do that, but we do not. So anyhow, those 3 screws are out. Go ahead and pull that out. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now that that's out, now we could go ahead and carefully take our fingernail, and if it will let us, there we go, pop that out. And this whole thing lifts up. Gotta lift up both pieces kind of and then pull out. And just set that to the side. And same thing with this other cable, ribbon cable. We gotta pop that up carefully. These are delicate, you can break them very easily. I know I make it look easy, but it is not really all that easy. Anyhow. Boom. Yeah. Okay, so now that all those ribbon cables are disconnected, go ahead and get the one silver screw by the fan over here. And then while we're working on the fan, let's go ahead and carefully, very delicately pop this up with our fingernail, because we do want to remember to disconnect the fan so we don't rip anything up or damage any connections. Now, we need to get the two silver screws that are holding the charge port for support. Those need to come out next. I'll go ahead and get these two gold screws here. Well, actually, there's three. So there's one there, one here on the board. You do want to be careful with this. But yeah, there's one on the board here. Another one on the board here. And while we're there, we need to disconnect the cable here, because that is our other analog stick. Ammo. Right, so I'm gonna have to fish the screw out. Unfortunately, that fell down in there. So I'm gonna pause it and save you all the misery. Alright, and we're back. So yeah, you want to pull the speaker out next, just like we did on the other side. Then you want to disconnect these two cables. Careful, those connections can and will break if you are not careful. We should have did this a long time ago, and I'm sorry for that, but I want to get this old compound off too. It's not very good quality. It's in the way, and it could use replacement. There we go. Alright, so that whole board we went ahead and pulled out now. Set that off to the side. And there's our analog stick right here. So let's go ahead and unscrew just like before. We're going to unscrew the two screws. They are slightly shorter than many of the other screws on here, so they're not really interchangeable, in case anyone's wondering. So just kind of keep an eye on where they go as you do it. There we go. Alright, so now that busted up one's out, go ahead and toss that in the bin there. Okay, so we have this one. Oh, hold on. This is their old one. So we have this one. We're going to go ahead and replace with on this side. Yep, yeah. And then if you remember, this one goes like this. And then we're going to bend this up. Just gives us an advantage, because that's the way it's supposed to kind of be routed anyway. If we don't do that, then it kind of fights us. So prevents a fight, I guess you could say. And I could grab those two silver screws and go ahead and put them back into place. There we go. Give me one moment. Alright, we're back. We're back. Got the replacement in place. Got the 2 screws put in. So we pretty much got to put the board back into place. Now some people disconnected. I went ahead and left it connected for ease of installation. The speaker went ahead and left attached is what I'm getting at. There we go. Alright, so that you gotta be careful to get it under all these cables and doodads there. Come on. It also has to route where the fan is. It gets funner here. It gets really funner here. Oh, and we also have to have it route for these and route for the other joystick. There we go. There we go. Oh. Well, need to go back. Be all because this. There we go. Okay, so anyhow, like I said, all that goes in there, but you got to be careful that everything is good and not being crunched. So we got the fan cable good. This cable's good. It's not getting jacked up. This one, the joystick one. I think I already said fan, but yeah, the fan. And then this one. And boom. Alright, so joystick, screen, backlight, fan. All of them look good. Go ahead and tuck in the. Come on. There we go. Tuck in the speaker. Now, if you remember, there was one silver screw that was right by where that fan connection is. We're going to actually put that one in first. Just be careful not to put pressure on the newly installed joysticks. Then we're going to put the 2 by the charge port. Oh, holding the charge port in place for support back into place. Could also go ahead and make sure that these cables are all connected up again how they were before. And again, just be careful not to put pressure on the newly installed joysticks. There we go. Alright, so now we could go ahead and do the 3 gold screws, which were one holding the speaker in place here. Oh, there we go. One holding the main board and over here. Just be very careful not to put pressure on those new sticks. One more gold screw goes there. Okay. Now we gotta clean up the heat sink so we can put some new compound in place. There we go. We're gonna go ahead and just use MX2 this time. Got ahead of myself, ladies and gentlemen. And everyone else. Yeah. I accidentally got ahead of myself. Sorry about that. Let's pump the brakes. Let's see here. So before we put that in, we actually have to connect some of this stuff. So let's make sure this fan's connected. Boom. I want to make sure the new joystick is connected. And be very careful with those clasps. They have no forgiveness. And we want to carefully. Oh, see, it keeps shutting on me. Carefully try to get this one in there. Come on, we could do it. We could totally do it. I just realized that whole angle is scrapped. Alright, so let's make sure this is good. There we go. It's like little tiny hairs. Get out. There we go. Alright, now we could clasp that down. Get that into place. There we go. That one was friendly and didn't put up a fight. Alright, so now that we've got all that into place, we could go ahead and put that heatsink into place. And what is... Oh, the box. I might scrap this video. Oh, man. And actually, we still can't put it in place anyway. Because I need to do this first. One last connection on the board. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why I charge what I charge. So all those silver screws we took out earlier, we're going to have to put those back. Those all hold this in place here. And always use caution. I know I keep saying it. Don't want to break the sticks. Don't want to break the sticks. Was I thorough enough about not breaking the sticks? I don't know if y'all remember Ren and Stimpy, but that was my thing, man. Ren and Stimpy was pretty cool, dude. Alright, so we're looking good so far. Let's check something out real quick. Okay, perfect. And then there's old compound there too I like to replace as well. Basically want to give them not just what they're paying for, but more than what they're paying for. They're paying for just the joystick replacement, but really they're getting a joystick replacement, a deep cleaning, and a thermal compound replacement. Okay. All right. All those are in. We need to go ahead and put the trigger back in on this side. If it will let me. There it goes. And there is 2 gold screws holding that bad boy in, just like the first side. Or to be more specific, just like the one on the right. Dang it. What are the flipping odds, dude? Oh. Give me one moment. I'll honestly be surprised if I keep this video. Unfortunately, it did not turn out very well. I'm just trying to produce content. I know you guys are hungry for fresh content. Once we could get everything dialed in, then we could focus more so on quality. I'm lining things up to do so. Alright, so anyhow, now that that's all in place, that's all good. We could go ahead and get this in place. And before we get that in place, we're going to need to finally do what I thought we were supposed to do way earlier and get this heat sink put back into place. Don't forget to clasp your all your clasps. So there are 3 silver screws holding this bad boy down. Definitely want to put those down. I like to provide support with my other hand. There we go. Just relieves pressure. Alright, so we're just going to put a bit extra on here to where it makes a connection from here to the ground plate, heatsink plate. Kind of serves both purposes. But yeah, the plate. There we go. And before we put that on, we must make sure to finally carefully plug in our battery. If it will stop fighting me. There we go. And the battery cable, basically, battery power cable. Goes to the backlight and has a lot to do with the power in general and the backlight. Alright, so now that that's all good, finally plug that all cleaned up now on here. And we do want to make sure that those notches are in place. There's 1 silver screw that goes up here. And there's another silver screw that goes right here in the center. There we go. Then we have a gold screw that goes up here. And gold screw that goes down here. Come on. Fighting me. There we go. Oh, I'm sorry, that doesn't go there. It does not go there. I'm sorry that, you guys. We gotta put that over here. The 2 gold go up there. There's this silver one goes down here. Sorry about that. And then now we can carefully put our power and volume button back into place. There we go. Now going from this side, we want to start with this part where the volume and power button goes. And we want to make sure that the charge port has clearance, so we got to get over that. And once we get that far, usually pop it into place. Feels like it might fight a little. Okay, there it goes. There we go. It sounds all terrible clicking into place. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So now we're just gonna bolt her all up. I got to charge her up before I could see if the joysticks need calibration. Usually when they're new, they don't need it, but I always test and make sure if they need to be calibrated, calibrate them. Other than that, we're done. Thanks for watching. Be sure to tune in next time.